Hey, Michael with XForcePC. Been in the lab and I shrunk the titanium, for lack of a better term. So what we've got here is we've got this new, smaller form factor computer that's significantly smaller than our high-end titanium system, yet packs almost all of that power that is found in that titanium system. Here you can see it is half the height, or roughly half the height of the titanium, which is over here. And we'll get you a side shot, but if you look at the side, it's approximately half the depth of the titanium as well. It is slightly wider than the titanium, and one thing I'll say is that will give you much more stability if you decided to stack these. Let's say you needed a 3-computer setup where you have multiple computers driving multiple displays. Again, a networked setup. And what you could do is stack these 3 high. It has some nice tall feet under here, so I can stick my hand under here. And so those tall feet would provide a necessary gap here, and that width, that slightly wider width, would provide the stability to stack these things on top of each other. So that's the outside of this system. The dimensions, the thing that really catches your eye. But let's talk about now the inside of this system. All right, let's talk about the inside of this system. So I have this huge stack over here, not huge stack, but I have this stack here of side panels that are held on with thumb screws and just come off extremely easily. This is the front of the system. Notice the very large fan. That is going to move a lot of air, but not have to do it at high RPM, so it's not going to make any noise. And it's also got a filter built into the front panel, so it'll filter the dust out. So moving around, we have the motherboard, the processor here. We have the power supply down below, and our memory here. Not a lot to see there. In the back, we've got the power supply. And we've got the graphics card here. We've got 2 antenna connections for your wireless antenna, which comes with it. And this actually is magnetic. Now you probably wouldn't stick it to the back like that. You'd stick it to the top. But just goes to show you kind of stick it to the side or the top so that it gets better signal and you get it out from behind here. Got two 1 gigabyte LAN ports. We've got USB 3.0, we've got a USB Type-C connector, we've got 7.1 channel audio as well. Moving back around again to this side, this big beast here is the graphics card. That's a GTX 1070 you're looking at there. And it draws all of its air right here through the side panel. There's ventilation here in the side, so the air for this card goes right in from the outside, cool air, and then blows straight out the back. So it's not mixing with the air inside of here. And that helps keep the processor nice and cool. And of course here, by the way, this is our front. So this would be on the left front. You've got power, 2 USB 3.0s, a microphone, a headphone, and a reset button. And then we're back around to the front again. Now, one more interesting thing is the bottom panel even comes out. So on all 6 sides, you can take these panels off, and it doesn't take but a minute or 2 to snap all these things back on. And they're just held on with thumb screws. Let's see, that's the bottom. That's the side. This is the other side. And this would be the top. So I just set that on there and slide it on, and then I put the 2 thumb screws in the back, and the same goes for the side over here. So that's kind of an overview of the physicals of this thing. And then we'll talk in depth about the specifications. Okay, so we're going to talk about the physicals of this box now. First of all, I'll start with dimensions. The depth of just the box is 12 inches deep. The height, including the feet, is 11 inches, and the width is a little over 10 inches. So it's quite a small box here. Now, compared to our titanium system, if you equip this thing with the GTX 1070, we do have the option for the 1060, you will have essentially a titanium. Now, the titanium is a little bit overclocked, so this is either going to have an i5 running in the upper 3 gigahertz or an i7 which will be pushing 4 gigahertz. So the one thing the titanium would have on this one is it's about a half a gigahertz more clock speed because we're overclocking. We don't really have room for a tower cooler in this system. There's not enough height between the motherboard and the top of the case to use a tower cooler. So we're, at least at this time, not going to overclock this thing. We're going to run the standard clock speeds. So there is our new small form factor PC. It's really great for tight spaces, great for stacking, and is really an awesome performer. And this is the first mini ITX system I've ever built where I didn't want to throw the thing out the window because it was so tight and compact and cumbersome. This is a really nice package. And another thing, in a lot of these ITX systems, it's very difficult to get to the graphics card if you ever decide you wanted to upgrade the graphics card. But in this one, the graphics card is just right there in your face, and it is extremely easy to upgrade. The top comes off and you just lift the card right out of the top. So you're not locked into this graphics card or having to get involved in a detailed and cumbersome disassembly simply to swap out the graphics card. It's quite easy to do. And actually, the processor is quite easy to get to. Now, we don't recommend, if you're not a professional, we don't recommend you trying to upgrade your CPU, but I can tell you it is extremely easy to get to as well. And even the power supply is easy to get to. You take this bottom panel off and you can get right to the power supply. So again, it's the first mini ITX system I've ever built that I didn't get frustrated with, and that all of the components are easy to get to and easy to upgrade.